A homeless teen crossed paths with Jon Jones. What happened next changed everything. The cold night wind cut through the empty streets as a teenager crouched beneath a flickering street lamp. His clothes were torn, hands scraped and shaking. No one saw him. No one cared. The city moved on, busy and indifferent. Then, from the shadows, a figure appeared, tall, strong, steady. Jon Jones, not just a champion fighter, but someone who had seen struggle up close. He paused, eyes locking with the boys for a moment that stretched. Why was this teen here, alone and lost? What had brought him to this dark corner? Jon didn't ask. Instead, he offered a hand, a simple gesture that carried a promise, a chance, a lifeline. But the boy's story was more tangled than it seemed. Hidden behind tired eyes were secrets, fears, and a past that refused to let go. What happened next would change both their lives forever. Could a homeless teen rise from the ashes? And could a champion save more than just a fight? The answer wasn't just in the ring. It was in the shadows waiting to be uncovered. The teen's name was Marcus. He had known better days, but they felt like a distant dream now. His hands trembled as he clutched a worn backpack, the only thing left from a life that slipped through his fingers. The cold bit into his skin, and the city noises, honking cars, distant sirens, were a harsh reminder he had nowhere safe to go. Marcus hadn't always been on the streets. Just months ago, he had a family, a school, even a small circle of friends. But one night, everything changed. A fight broke out at home. Words turned to violence, and the people he trusted became strangers. His mother disappeared, leaving him alone, and his father's anger turned cold and distant. With no one to turn to, Marcus drifted, sleeping in alleyways, surviving on scraps and luck. The nights were long, filled with fear of being caught, hurt, or forgotten. He buried his pain deep, convincing himself to stay invisible, unnoticed. Meanwhile, Jon Jones had his own battles. Behind the public victories and the bright lights, he wrestled with his past mistakes and hard-earned lessons. His reputation as a fighter was legendary, but his heart held scars no one saw. He understood loss, struggle, and the quiet desperation of fighting for a second chance. When Jon first saw Marcus beneath that street lamp, something stirred. The boy's eyes held a mix of defiance and despair, a mirror of Jon's younger self. It was clear Marcus wasn't just another lost kid. His spirit, though battered, still flickered with fight. Jon wondered, could he reach through the walls Marcus had built? Was it possible to turn this broken path into something new? There was risk in trying. Opening up meant vulnerability, for both of them. But the city didn't wait. Shadows moved closer. Danger lurked nearby, threatening to swallow Marcus whole. Jon's decision would set a chain in motion, one that neither of them could predict. Jon took Marcus under his wing, offering more than just shelter and training. He saw potential where others only saw a lost kid. Days turned into weeks as Marcus pushed his body, learning discipline, technique, and respect. But beneath the progress, shadows lingered. One evening, Marcus disappeared. No calls, no messages. Jon's heart sank. The boy who had started to trust again was gone without a trace. Weeks passed, then a call. Marcus was arrested, caught in a fight that spiraled out of control. Jon rushed to the station, anger and worry mixing in his chest. At the hearing, Marcus revealed a secret that shook Jon to his core. His mother wasn't missing, she had abandoned him willingly. Worse, Marcus had been protecting a dangerous truth about a local gang that had threatened his family. Jon realized the fight wasn't just about physical battles. Marcus was caught in a web far deeper and darker than he'd imagined. The gang wasn't just a threat. They were hunting Marcus and anyone who helped him. Jon felt the weight of failure crushing him. His mentorship was supposed to save Marcus, but instead it dragged them both into danger. The police warned Jon to stay away for his own safety, but Jon couldn't turn back. Late one night, Marcus showed up at the gym, beaten and terrified. The cars. Gang had found him again. Fear was etched on his face, but so was determination. He wouldn't run anymore. Together they made a plan. Jon would face the gang head-on, not just as a fighter, but as a protector of the boy who had become like family. Marcus, despite the pain and fear, found strength he never knew he had. The tension boiled over during a confrontation that felt like the end of everything. But just when defeat seemed certain, Marcus made a move that stunned everyone. His training, his heart and his spirit combined in a moment that flipped the fight and their lives upside down. No one expected what happened next. Not Jon, not Marcus, and certainly not the world watching from the sidelines. The night was heavy with tension. The gym, once a sanctuary, now felt like a battleground. Shadows stretched across the walls as the gang approached, their presence, a dark storm ready to break. Jon stood at the center, muscles tense, eyes sharp. Marcus was beside him, bruised but unbroken. The boy's defiance burned brighter than ever. They both knew what was coming, a fight not just for pride, but for survival. Suddenly, the leader of the gang stepped forward, sneering. He taunted Jon, mocking the teen, pushing buttons meant to provoke anger, to ignite violence without thought. Jon's fists clenched. This was no ordinary battle. Every strike here would leave marks deeper than skin. Then Marcus did the unexpected. Instead of backing down, he faced the gang's leader, eyes cold and steady. He revealed a secret piece of information, a betrayal within the gang that no one saw coming. The leader's face shifted from confidence to shock. Whispers erupted among the gang members. Trust crumbled. The moment split in two, fight or flight, betrayal or survival. Jon saw the fear flicker in Marcus's eyes. For a second, he hesitated, torn between protecting the boy and unleashing everything he had. But Marcus made the choice for him. He stepped forward and struck, not with rage but precision born from pain and hope. The gym exploded into chaos. Fists flew, bodies collided. But amidst the turmoil, Marcus's move changed everything. The gang's unity shattered. Confusion took over. Jon fought with everything left inside, but it was Marcus's courage, his revelation, that turned the tide. The gang faltered and fled into the night. Jon looked down at Marcus, chest rising and falling, eyes shining. The boy who was once lost had become a force no one expected. This fight was more than survival, it was rebirth. Jim was silent once the chaos faded. Broken boards, scattered gloves, and the fading echo of heavy breaths marked the aftermath. Jon sat beside Marcus, the weight of the night settling deep in their bones. Marcus looked away, the fight's adrenaline slipping into a quiet sadness. His past still haunted him, scars unseen, but felt every day. Jon knew this battle wasn't the end, but a step towards something fragile and uncertain. The boy who once wandered the streets alone and afraid now stood with a spark no one could extinguish. But the road ahead was still clouded, filled with shadows of doubt and risk. Jon wondered if the world would ever truly accept Marcus, or if the fight would continue in different forms. They shared a glance, not just mentor and student, but survivors connected by a story few could understand. As dawn broke, light spilled into the gym, casting long shadows and a fragile hope. Marcus clenched his fists, not in anger, but in readiness for whatever came next. Sometimes the fiercest battles are the ones fought within, and in that quiet moment everything changed.